Is on your markets around us. That's Dollars and Cents. Thursday afternoons at 4 here on WSIC.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I need some real talk. Oh, I need some real talk. Give me some of that real talk.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate back again for more pain just because the holiday was so exciting that you said, I'll come sit at a table with this bozo for an hour.
Yes.
Did you have a good 4th of July?
I did. It was very good. I live in the perfect location in my neighborhood because I just have to sit on my deck and the fireworks happen in the back of my house.
Can I ask you a question without you getting
nice.
offended?
Again, every week.
Do you feel like you celebrated the appropriate amount of America last week? Do you feel like that?
I wore the colors. I had my whole house
did
decorated.
The whole thing, huh?
Yes, I did the whole thing.
Well, we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Yes.
And I love 4th of July, my second favorite holiday next to Jesus' birthday. So there you go. That's a good one to celebrate. Celebrating with a bunch of real estate and gathering outside at parks and clubhouses and watching fireworks show. How many fireworks did you see, would you say, over the past week or hear? A lot?
In person?
You tell me.
1.
That's it?
Yes.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot.
Was it
no.
like a little smoke bomb like on the
old.
floor? Like, is that what it was?
I'm an aging woman, so I had my family come to our house, and actually my neighborhood celebrated on the 6th, so it was Saturday evening.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, on the 4th we just stayed home and watched the New York firework.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't want to face traffic and craziness. We're old.
I was asleep by 8:30.
What did you, exactly?
Yeah.
We go to bed at 9, so I'm like, okay, well, yeah, no energy anymore.
Yeah, no,
We're
for
too
sure.
tired to go out. And my in-laws used to live in the peninsula and had a boat, so every year we used to go on the lake, watch the fireplace on the lake, and then be stuck in their house in the peninsula until the traffic from everyone that came to the Peninsula Golf Club would leave.
Yep.
So we would be stuck in their house for like 3 hours after, but they moved to Birkdale, so we
Well, the
stopped the
Peninsula didn't have
tradition.
it this year. They didn't have
I know,
because of the
I know.
golf course. I did go to the Points
Mhm.
fireworks show on the 3rd. That was a really good one. That was nice to see. So is there things to celebrate as far as real estate in the marketplace? What do you think? Buyers, sellers? Is the market just completely imploding right now, or what's going on outside these 4 walls?
It's shifting. It's calmer. Listings are staying a little longer now.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's because buyers are just tired. Of course, the interest rates play a part, but it's been like that for a while. I just think buyers are taking a break and enjoying summer and not thinking about it unless you kind of need to move. I think buyers are kind of taking their time, but they will come to my new listing hitting the market this Friday because it's pretty awesome. So I know I'm going to have a crazy busy open house, tons of showings because I have an amazing listing coming up.
So open houses still work.
They work almost every time. If you get the house ready and you know how to market, yes. I actually did host an open house to one of my friends at Compass, Joe Bennett, in the Ballantine Country Club.
Ooh.
And I did think it would be a slow open house just because, the house has been on the market for 3 weeks. Actually, I forgot to check if it went under contract because one of the buyers went crazy about the house, but I had 7 sets of people come, which surprised me.
For this was over the holiday weekend?
Friday evening from
Wow.
5 to 7, yes.
Okay. So people, even though they're traveling and looking around, were they serious buyers or were they just looky-loos?
They were serious buyers. One of them
Wasn't
was a
the neighbor.
No, but a real neighbor. She lives in the neighborhood. She's trying to convince her daughter to move to the neighborhood. I think her daughter, husband, and grandchild live in South End. And she's trying to convince them that now they're a family. It's time to move out of South End and become
do some adulting.
parents. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Like
okay.
real
So
parents.
if they're hunting their buyers, and if they're buyers, they need inventory on the market, more or less compared to last week, as far as 500,000 or less, Mecklenburg County, active and coming soon in the local MLS. Are there more or less available this week?
Less, because I think many people were holding on because of the holiday, and many listings will hit the market probably this Thursday.
Okay, more or less. And last week was 1390, if I remember correctly, was the number.
Is it
1,390.
Isn't 1290?
Was it? No, it
We'll
was
never
1390.
know.
It was 1,390 units available, active coming soon, 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County. And we always don't mind looking at the other surrounding counties as well.
Yes.
But Mecklenburg County is a population of 1.1 million. So even the fact that we argue and quarrel over 1,390 versus 1,290, what does that tell you about the market? Supply is still down. Any hope of the future of that changing in the immediate 4 days?
In the 4 days?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
not at all.
Oh,
I think when interest rates come down a little, then it will be insane because many people like me, maybe you, I don't know if
no,
you
I'm never
talked
moving
about,
again in my life.
you never, don't say that
Nope.
because you know it's going to happen.
No, I better not.
But all the sellers that could move but have a super low interest rates are not going to move unless they have to and pay 7%, 7.25, whatever. But as soon as they come to maybe 5.5, then you can think, okay, I can let go of my 3% or 2.5% if the right house hits the market. So I do think buyers will, it's going to be as crazy because, again, more sellers, but more buyers at the same time. So I don't see it being easier. I just see more inventory once the interest rates come down.
I thought about you. Was it today or maybe the other or yesterday? Maybe I think my mom told me this. I can't remember who exactly. I think it was my mom. So one of your favorite places is Belmont, right?
love
That's
Belmont,
one of your
yes,
favorite markets
yes,
is Belmont.
yes.
Bustling little downtown, got a good vibe to it. Gaston County. Jonas Brothers are from Belmont, I believe. This is and their parents own a popular restaurant in Belmont.
What is the restaurant?
I don't know off the top of
Oh.
my head, but this is a real fact that you can look up on the internet
Okay.
somewhere. It's somewhere in the deep. It might be in the deep throes of the internet, but it's somewhere out there.
I'll try to find out. I didn't know that. So
Does
it
that
makes
make you
it even
love? But yeah, I was gonna say, is that Jonas
Sure,
Brothers? Is that?
I think I'm too old. My daughter's too young, so
Somewhere in the middle.
doesn't affect my life.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
hey, for the fans out there, I'll help you find their house.
What could affect your life? Maintaining your house.
Yes, always.
And if you don't maintain it, that will definitely affect your life at some point.
I heard from a client of mine, they bought new construction, and the wife called me the other day, and she's like, keep posting those things because I show it to my husband because he thinks that just because the house is new, there's nothing to be done. And I'm showing him your material. He needs to understand. So make sure you tell Instagram so I can show it to him. So I'm like, yes, you have to maintain your house. You have to. And I was thinking, like, do you buy a car and never take it to the mechanic to change filters and the oil and check like you just drive? No, right? Do you?
Depends on my day.
You should keep your car running. It's a machine that can fail, and the same thing is your house. So maintenance always.
Maintenance is important. Also, a requirement is making sure, let's say, a lender can be made whole in the event of a disaster or some type of situation that happens at your house.
Yep.
Insurance. That's going to be a topic for today. We've got Josh Smith with Goosehead here hanging out with us, and we're going to get to talk the most exciting realm of real estate in the transaction, insurance that everyone loves. It's the product everyone demands. People are beating down the door for more insurance in this world right now. Yeah. Always have and always will. I've said it. I'll say it again. I'm not afraid. Insurance is a person's best friend.
It is.
Especially for those who love fireworks, right? That's probably a really good time to,
oh
to
my
have
God.
that.
True.
More of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a lot of folks across the Lake Norman area getting some much-needed rain over the past weekend, although a lot of that rain in a short amount of time, of course, led to some localized flash flooding in a few spots. That'll continue as we kick off a new work week now, not quite as hot, but still grossly humid. We're up around 90 this afternoon with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and evening, and we'll copy and paste that for most of the upcoming work week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses, like Top Notch Gutters of Statesville.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Thursday, July 11th, Untethered Soul makes their Langtree Live debut. The band is a unique, creative, soulful reimagination of the music that shaped American culture. Grab your chairs and head to Langtree in Mooresville for the 7 p.m. performance of Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia. This Friday, Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville present the Wilson Strong Cookout. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., stop by for a barbecue plate and sides in support of Matt Wilson. We'll see you at Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville this Friday to support Matt with the Wilson Strong Cookout. On Friday, Envision rocks Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville. This first-class dynamic vocal group delivers a high-energy stage show complete with professional choreography and silky smooth harmonies. Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville welcomes you to the Envision concert on Friday night. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 5 of summer camps begins Monday, July 15th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 4 to 15 include ceramics, drawing, painting, mosaic, mixed media art, and more. The Davidson Community Players present Footloose the Musical on August 8th, 9th, and 10th. For more information on summer camp programs and the theater schedule and tickets, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series heats up the track each week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series night number 8 is on Tuesday, July 16th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Today's Real Talk continues now. Here are your hosts, Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. More or less, did you already lock in your guess for that one
Yes,
too, by the way?
I said less.
You said less.
Yes.
You were saying less. 500,000 or less by county. We start with Mecklenburg, active coming soon in the local MLS. You're saying there are less on the market this week than there were last week. We'll find out at some point today. Regardless, if you buy a house, you get a loan, you got to have insurance. You should have insurance even if you pay cash, though you don't have to, but you should. That would be crazy if you had no insurance on it. But hey, crazier things have happened.
There
Josh,
are some.
when someone tells you, I don't want insurance, convince me why I need it, what do you say?
I say, do you have $250,000 to rebuild your home tomorrow if it caught on fire? No. And so then it very easily becomes a conversation of what can I self-insure versus what can I not? And very oftentimes it's that deductible. So that's what we're paying out of pocket instead of $250,000 plus for a new construction.
Josh Smith of Goosehead joins us right now. Can I say Goosehead? Like, I feel like that's a cool insurance name to use.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you can say Goosehead. It's a funny name for sure, but I love working with our brokerage. It's nothing like anything else out there. I can't imagine selling insurance any other way.
So you're an insurance broker. Is that
Yes.
the right classification? Because there are different classifications too, right?
Broker, agent, I'm representing the insurance companies, the carriers, and then as well as the clients themselves. So that person in the middle, I do have to maintain a relationship with both. So yeah, we can call it broker, agent, producer.
I've always been curious for the brokerage side of insurance, right? So you get a call, let's say from a referral partner, says, hey, I got a client, they're interested, they would like to see some quotes from you, and you can spit out some numbers, you get the contract, or you get the sales price, or whatever it is you're doing. Hey, baseline, here's it at.
Yeah.
How many products are you and companies are you able to look at by being a broker?
Yes. So one of the best parts about working with Goosehead is we have a proprietary in-house system that sorts through all the carriers that we work with. And so at least in North Carolina, we're looking at like 50 to 60 between our home, auto, motorcycle, all of the different personalized products that we have to offer clients. And so we really just have like a quick phone call where I'm confirming information, some underwriting details about the house, what foundation, what siding, square footage, like kind of nitty gritty details that not everyone knows, but a lot of times it's literally just going off of Zillow to confirm that and make sure that it is correct. And then that we've got a comparative rater, and that's going to sort through all the carriers for me and give me back the best options based on what I input. And then I'll still go into each carrier, typically looking at like 5 to 6 home products at once, and then 5 to 6 auto options as well to just kind of curate the best. Now, because I have been doing it, I kind of know what's going to be the best option. So I can save myself a little bit of time there that way. But a lot of it's coming down to the rater doing a lot of the hard work for me.
Do you have, and I'm going to guess the answer is yes, but do you have many buyers or even homeowners reshopping for new homeowners insurance that are, pardon my word, cheap and sometimes insist on getting a less than ideal product to save,
Yeah.
I don't know, 20 bucks, 50 bucks a year?
Yeah, I've got people from both ends of the spectrum. So their renewal went up $2,000-3,000. Totally understandable. Let's reshop and see if we can get you in a better spot, get you closer to where you were at when we got you set up last year. And then I do have people too that are on the coast, high hurricane hit zone, that are upset that they even got a renewal. A lot of carriers aren't even offering renewals; they're pulling out of the market completely, and so it's a tough conversation. I'm also licensed in Texas, and so the Texas market is one of the hardest insurance markets to ride in right now. And just setting those expectations up front with clients that I'm hoping that I can get something less expensive, but there's no guarantee. But yeah, we're cutting costs wherever we can, and I hate to cut coverage, but I understand though too, if it means saving $10 a month.
But can you, I don't know, convince them or most of them saying, hey, you can choose the cheaper one, but this is what's going to happen
Yeah.
if you need it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'll give them the option of like, I do have an option that's less expensive, but our coverage is a little bit lower. And typically year over year, it gets more expensive to rebuild a home. So I don't want to reduce coverage if we can't. Oftentimes I'd rather increase the deductible. So that's, obviously more out of pocket. I want it to be affordable, but not going to break the bank. But typically increasing the deductible does help keep the rate a little bit lower. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
One thing that I see, because I do have clients, especially coming from California, from Florida,
Yeah.
that home insurance is getting out of hand and extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And I see some changes here.
Yeah.
It is getting more expensive. Do you see the market going as crazy high as Florida, California, maybe Texas?
I hope not.
Okay.
I want to say right now in Mecklenburg County, at least in our Goosehead system, the average rate is hovering around 1,500 to 1,600. Now that's a spread from anywhere from new construction all the way to 1950, 1960. Square footage varies, but the average, very well spread average, is around 1,500. Hopefully not. Now coastal areas will be a little bit higher because we have higher risk. We don't really have to worry about the land movement that's in California, thankfully, earthquakes, things like that. Texas, we don't really get hit with hail as hard as they do.
Unless you are in Rock Hill.
Right.
Well, let's think about even the lake, for example, right?
Yeah.
Lake Norman. Is it more money to have a policy on the water than off the water?
Potentially. If there's a flood risk associated with it, maybe. And I would say typically those lake houses are a lot bigger, so that reconstruction estimate is going to be a lot higher. So in that regard, yes, they're going to be more just because it's more home. But overall, I'm hoping it doesn't get anywhere where it is in Texas and California and Florida. Those are the three hardest states to insure, in New York too.
How far off in the conversation with buyers right now, right? Is the price point of insurance a shock to buyers right now? Or is it more just like, okay, yeah, we got to consider this in the payment. We got to make it work?
Some. So it's going to depend on who their lender is and how well they're educating on expectations of a loan estimate. Sometimes I've got some that estimate $50 a month still, which we don't live in that world anymore. So I always try to kind of estimate. I say a safeguard is, at bare minimum, $100 a month. I mean, even new construction homes, sometimes they're, 75 if we're lucky. But what was your question again? I'm sorry.
No, just how big of a difference is it for buyers these days in the shock? Is it a sticker shock on the insurance policy, or is it more of just like hunting for a deal because of the loan requirements?
Sometimes it's a sticker shock, but I also try to kind of prepare them too when I get on that next phone call of like, all right. And a lot of times I'll try to ask too if they've already got quotes, because I do work with so many. I just don't want to double dip. And if they do have one, I'll ask them to send over that quote to me to kind of review it like a lender would for a loan estimate. Now, sometimes I get pushback because buyers like to have the control in that conversation, which I totally can appreciate. But at the same time, I'm licensed. I do this every day. And I genuinely want you to be in the best spot possible. And so sometimes it's a sticker shock. They're like, dang, I wasn't expecting that, especially if their loan estimate was $50 a month. I'm coming in at 200. That's just unreasonable expectations.
And this is something I do. I tell my clients, let's say I know they got a loan estimate, and many times the loan officer sends me a copy at the same time, but some companies refuse to do it. I tell my clients, look, if you don't mind, let me take a look. I know what the final numbers, and I do see that, and I'm like, guys, just so you know, this is not true. This is way too low. I hope you can find someone that charges $50 a month, but this is not. So I look at it because I'm like, And the same thing when they're shopping around for loan products for homeowners insurance. I'm like, make their lives easier and show the first quote, because then they can take a look and say, yeah, there's no way I can compete. Go for it. And loan, like you get a loan. The same thing. I'm like, let me take a look. I'm not a loan officer, but I understand a lot of things, so I can see. Very often, I think too often, what they do is they do some kind of loan officers, right, a phishing thing. So they put a super low or lower than it should interest rate. People get excited because then they look at the number without understanding that they are buying down points. So they are being charged for fake low interest rate. So I tell my clients, let me see if it's true, because you might be paying and not realizing and think your loan officer is awesome. Same thing with the home insurance. They might giving you an estimate. You get all excited. Come closing day, it's much higher because that's how, or the product is,
Josh,
the HO8, HO6.
Yeah.
Like the kind of.
Those are different, like condo versus
like
Josh, this is what happens
right?
every single week. Claudia goes down these rabbit holes where she's caring about her clients. She's actually thinking and helping them out in her best professional manner she possibly could. It's unprecedented in the marketplace.
I love it.
But from your perspective of coverage, right? And someone's got to make that terrible call that hopefully they never have to, right? Because the whole point of insurance is hopefully you never have to use the product.
Yes.
But it's there in case you do.
Yeah.
You get the call of my house burned down, or lightning struck us, or hail damage just happened, or a plethora of things that it could be. What's that process like, do you see from your perspective?
So thankfully, I haven't had to really deal with that.
Wow.
I'm super blessed for that. I do have a full-time claims team and service team that I rely heavily on for that kind of back-end knowledge, because I am so forward-facing. I'm going to educate you on what is covered, what's not covered. Are we open peril basis, named peril, which might sound like jargon to anyone listening, but those little things like that. And if that does happen, for example, we did have the Rock Hill hailstorm, and the phones are ringing. Hey, I'm going to get you in touch with my claims team. They're going to be able to help out a lot more than I am, because they do this every day. They do claims every single day.
So Goosehead does have that layer of support, if you would. And is that with Goosehead, or is that more of the individual underwriter carriers that?
No, so we have our own claims team at Goosehead, and then they'll get in touch with, the client, and then trying to make that decision of whether we even need to file a claim. I always suggest the clients give us a call first. A lot of people don't know this, but if you call into any insurance carrier and, hey, I think I need to file a claim, that sometimes will open up a claim, and that will show up on your history in the future, which will impact your rates when you go to reshop again.
Yes.
So
let's open up Pandora's box on the other side of the break. Roofs, because I bet that's a fun part
this
that you
is
want
one
to do.
thing I want to talk about. You know
We're
me.
gonna
You
get
know
into
me. I
that.
do want to talk about. That's a main thing nowadays.
All right, we're going to talk about roofs. We're also going to hit more or less. We're going to talk about that. Is the market more or less 500,000 less active and coming soon on the market? Also, you got to maintain that asset that you own, or liability, right? If it's your primary residence, that's okay. You don't want the price on it, the value on it, to dwindle. You want to keep it up. And so we got a little tip for you, Dave. Claudia's got Maintenance Monday as well. Hanging out with Josh Smith of Goosehead. Little insurance conversation. Everyone's favorite topic.
We'll be back with more of today's Real Talk, hosted by Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis, in just a moment on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a lot of folks across the Lake Norman area getting some much-needed rain over the past weekend, although a lot of that rain in a short amount of time, of course, led to some localized flash flooding in a few spots. That'll continue as we kick off a new work week now. Not quite as hot, but still grossly humid. We're up around 90 this afternoon with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and evening, and we'll copy and paste that for most of the upcoming work week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
This is the story of the one.
As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Are you in constant pain, under constant stress, just need a moment away? Repeat after me. Serenity Now Massage Therapy. SerenityNowMassageAndWellness.com, with locations in Mooresville and Cornelius.
Cold weather is here, but that doesn't mean it has to be cold inside. At G&B Energy, we provide clean and efficient propane to heat your water heater, warm your home, and cook your meals, even when the power's out. We are a family-owned and North Carolina-grown business known for fair prices and expert service. Visit G&B Energy today on Intercraft Drive in Statesville or GNBenergy.com. G&B Energy, home of the $480 Renai tankless water heater. Restrictions apply.
Is your AC ready for the summer? Horn Heating and Air Conditioning is in the Lake Norman area to make sure Mother Nature is no match for your system. Experience the feeling of awe. HornHVAC.com. Schedule your maintenance today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Microsoft tightening up its cybersecurity measures in China, telling its employees there that starting in September, they'll only be able to use Apple iPhones at work and can no longer use any phones powered by Google's Android system because of security worries. Meantime, Apple getting ready to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch with a big upgrade to its next generation watch, a bigger display, and they'll be thinner. Shares of Apple pretty much flat, while elsewhere on Wall Street, stocks are mixed and little moved on this Monday. A lot of worries about the start of the new earnings season this week. Also with the head of the Fed appearing before Congress tomorrow and Wednesday, and on support for President Biden's re-election bid. Right now, it's got the Dow down just slightly, the NASDAQ ahead about 0.5%, the S&P is flat. And Clausen Pickles is teaming up with the treat maker, New York City-based Baked by Melissa, on some pickle-flavored cupcakes in stores this summer. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
It's today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. More or less, she says that it will be less than last week. That's active and coming soon on the market in Mecklenburg County, under 500,000. That's just the stat we look at because of wages is what I consider for 500,000. Though the market may be shifting and there may be a lot of luxury buyers. We had grandfather homes on last week.
Yes.
Are you seeing still luxury at high demand right now?
Yep. I just had a quote. We were talking about it during the break. Yes, luxury home. We were quoting insurance for luxury. Yes, we do have many people, especially many people relocating from California, from New York, from abroad. So
From all over the world.
Luxury market is hot.
All right, Josh Smith of Goosehead Insurance is here joining us. All right, luxury market pricing. Like, let's say you get to the $1 million and up policies. Does the equation shift in insurance at that realm at all?
Sometimes it depends. It's going to come down to the reconstruction of the house itself. So just because the home might be listed at $1 million doesn't mean it's going to take $1 million to rebuild it. Now, if we've got mahogany floors, we've got the professional grade kitchen,
The wood from 1909 that
Right.
can't be replicated?
Right.
Yeah, sure.
in that market, there are a couple special carriers that will insure those higher value homes. It just takes a lot longer of a process. It's underwriting before you bind a policy. It's a lot more in depth. And I haven't had too many that I've had to work with. I've had a couple that have hovered around $1 million, but often that reconstruction ends up being 750,000, 850, which is right in my realm that I can do that there. And then we talk about umbrellas and liability and insuring their whole portfolio to make sure they're properly protected.
What do you mean umbrellas? If it rains, what's umbrella?
I mean, there is an umbrella. It's excess liability, but when it rains, we can get to talking about roofs.
Yes, let's connect the umbrella with the roof.
There we go. All right, so
really
roofs,
important topic.
Extremely important topic, very popular topic because no buyer wants a busted roof. No seller wants to deal with the process of getting a new roof as they've listed the house.
Yeah.
Walk us through this scenarios, Claudia. Lead the way on this. How do we deal with it?
Yes, I will. We've talked about it. We had Tony from 21 Roofing here talk about it. And because I see the difference and the different treatment from homeowners insurance, what I'm telling my sellers right now, even if you're thinking about selling, and maybe you shouldn't hear that, 3 or 6 months from now, get a roofing company, check your roof, see if you can file a claim now. Don't wait until you list your house and then an inspection brings a bad roof, because I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel that the insurance companies are denying claims if they see that the house is under contract. Yes or no? I mean, maybe you can't really say anything.
Under contract? Well,
this is what I've seen in my as a listing agent, as a buyer agent. Kind of, it's harder. Like I get the roofing guy say there is damage, and then the adjuster comes and they're like, no, there isn't, and there's nothing you can do.
So in a scenario like that, well, one, I always try to avoid filing a claim if we can. That's going to be first and foremost. I know it's a necessary evil. We did touch on that. But a lot of times the insurance companies are going to draw back. There's got to be a direct cause of loss. So for a roof that's just old, it genuinely needs to be replaced. That's going to fall under one of the exclusions of wear and tear. Normal wear and tear is not covered on your homeowner's insurance. And so if it just needs to be replaced, that's probably, you can try to file a claim, they're going to deny it. Versus if a tree falls on the house from the Rock Hill storm, for example, that's a direct cause of loss. That's going to fall under your wind and hail deductible. If you have a separate one and you need to get a new roof from that, that's going to fall into that. So there's got to be that direct cause of loss. I don't know if the insurance carrier can see if we're under contract or not. This happens all the time. So I think it's more so the direct cause of loss. They're going to try to...
Zillow, everybody plays with it. Everybody checks. And I would say, again, there's no proof. This is my theory that they are looking, and then it's easier for them to say, no, there's no hail, I'm not going to do it. And why am I saying that? Because many times we are under contract, and yes, people have to be aware that an old roof needs to be replaced. It's wear and tear. But what I see is that in the past few months, the companies are refusing to insure houses if the roof is older than 10 years, even though you have a 30-year-old architectural shingle, which for me is crazy.
We love architectural shingles. So.
But if it's a 30-year and the companies are not insuring if it's more than 10 years, why?
So that's going to come down carrier to carrier, the amount of eligibility in their underwriting. And so some carriers, their bread and butter is going to be a new construction at home. I have seen them loosen up a little bit. But if you've got like a typical composition shingle, which tends to be on your older home, I would say early 2000s, late 80s, late 90s, it's probably got a composition shingle roof. Mid 2000s and up, it's probably going to have an architectural shingle on it, which an architectural is going to get you a lot longer of eligibility. Some carriers up to 25 years. If it's a composition, those are the ones that they're going to want replaced because they almost like don't overlay like an architectural does, so that chance of water getting in is a little bit higher.
But again, as a realtor, and I see the things. I had
as
one
someone
of my
delivering top-notch service to the community.
I had, let's say, buyers that had a very hard time. It was architectural shingle. It was maybe 13 years old. And in theory, they last 30 years.
Right.
The insurance company declined. Number one, when he started looking for it, he couldn't find anyone to cover him. Then we started trying to negotiate replacing, and then he finally found someone like a company to do it for maybe $5,000 instead of the $2,000 that he would get.
The rate for the year was
So
5.
it was crazy high. And I don't see why
Yeah.
and how the companies can get away with it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, so
I'm sorry if I'm putting
no,
you on the spot.
You're good. You're good. And again, this is, based on kind of what I see, obviously with what you see as well. The eligibility is going to come down to the insurance company and their loss ratios and what they're seeing. So if there's been a lot of claims in the area, roof, for example, or they're having to pay out in claims on a lot of older roofs, that's going to be their first inclination of we need to make it stricter for that roof type. And now there's going to be a difference of like 30-year warranty for the roof. Like if it's manufacturer like defective, then we could get it replaced, as opposed to the carriers themselves wanting a replacement due to the age of it. Now it's not too alarming, but sometimes, yeah, I know. I really can't say too
Well,
much.
it sounds like something just to add to the to the tool belt of during the transaction, right?
Yes.
In this day and age, we're kind of learning, right, about roofs in essence in this marketplace. We've had X number of years of roofs and insurance, right, and all that, and how the insurance game it's all set up to play out. Now, you almost have to ask about that eligibility at the time of policy when you're getting the quotes is really what you got to start looking for.
Absolutely. Every single client that I talk to, I'm like, hey, do we know the roof here? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, let's do a quick double check. Sometimes we genuinely can't figure it out or find it. The sellers don't know. And so then I'm going to do my best judgment of, one, what's the shingle type? Is it going to be an architectural, which I know most carriers is going to give me up to 25. Can reasonably assume, hopefully, that it's been replaced within the last 10 to 15 years. And we'll kind of quote with that. I always start with the latter, the older, and then if we do find out that's a little bit newer, I'll kind of roll with that. But I mean, I've had policies that were going to be awesome. They were going to be killer, but then I couldn't do it because of the roof. And so kind of integrating that into the transaction, I've been trying to coach more and more of the agents that I partner with. If we're on the listing side, can we offer a credit if we know it's an older roof or even a replacement, and then potentially list it higher if we have a new roof? Buyer side, I'm buyer's agents. What are our roofs looking like? I've made a little guide to kind of look and see what shingle types there are. Now, metal roofs, a little bit of a different story. Typically fine with those.
Those are your Mac Daddies.
But they're not,
roofs right
they're
there.
not common. Yeah. I honestly think that we are getting to a point that I honestly think that we have to talk about insurance because specifically of the roof, even before we put an offer on a house.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, can we get this insured, and how much will it cost? And then kind of plan accordingly to the insurance, how much you're going to offer, how you're going to offer, because it is becoming a major topic and part of the whole negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's favorite topic, as I said, insurance.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. We're here with Josh Smith of Goosehead Insurance. Josh, we're going to have another segment here, more or less.
Okay.
Your analysis based on the marketplace buyers you talk to, is it as tight as Claudia makes it sound like it is every single week in the market?
Tight in what regards?
Limited supply and inventory, high demand of buyers. Everyone's hunting and looking for stuff.
Say yes. Say yes.
Yes. I feel like I don't have the best answer for this because I insure in Charleston and Greensboro, a couple bit on the coast. So for our market ourselves here in Charlotte and Mecklenburg, we'll say yes.
Thank you.
Yes is what it is.
It's well trained.
Okay. So seeing it all over the place. Insurance is changing right now. You got the weather is affecting everything. Another hurricane barrel making landfall and all that kind of stuff. So that always does good for insurance rates. Always a big thing. More or less coming up. Also Maintenance Monday coming back.
Stay with us. Today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis will be back after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, a lot of folks across the Lake Norman area getting some much-needed rain over the past weekend, although a lot of that rain in a short amount of time, of course, led to some localized flash flooding in a few spots. That'll continue as we kick off a new work week now. Not quite as hot, but still grossly humid. We're up around 90 this afternoon with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and evening, and we'll copy and paste that for most of the upcoming work week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Thursday, July 11th, Untethered Soul makes their Langtree Live debut. The band is a unique, creative, soulful reimagination of the music that shaped American culture. Grab your chairs and head to Langtree in Mooresville for the 7 p.m. performance of Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia. This Friday, Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville present the Wilson Strong Cookout. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., stop by for a barbecue plate and sides in support of Matt Wilson. We'll see you at Trailers of the East Coast in Mocksville this Friday to support Matt with the Wilson Strong Cookout. On Friday, Envision rocks Liberty Park in downtown Mooresville. This first-class dynamic vocal group delivers...
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you out there? Todd, can you hear me? Check. Todd, can you hear me? Todd, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Excellent. I can. They are finishing up a show right now. So Joe Vagnone's show will get started at 4:06. You're more than welcome to sit tight. I got you muted, so you're not going to come out over the radio or anything. But I just want to let you know if you wanted to, I don't know, make a cup of tea or I don't know, do whatever you want.
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay.
All right, cool deal.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Sound looks good. Video looks good. So thank you.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Call now to speak with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis at 844-STUDIO-4. It's today's Real Talk on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek, and I think it's time. More or less. Claudia Ogrizek, 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County, active and coming soon in the local MLS. Remember, Mecklenburg County has a population of 1.1 million. Yes. And so we think about supply and demand, the number of active and coming soon units on market. Last week, 1,390, more or less this week.
Less. I feel that many people did not list houses this weekend, not as many as they could. We did have many out-of-state buyers because I met some looking around and possibly even putting offers. But overall, I think it's less.
Overall, Claudia, you say it's less. 500,000 or less Mecklenburg County active and coming soon in the local MLS. You're saying less than last week of 1,390. You are wrong.
No way.
It's more.
Come on.
1,408. That's how many are active and coming soon now in the marketplace. So inventory is ticking up. Another 18 units than last week. What do we think? Is that change the game in Mecklenburg County? Now the market is solved.
Yeah, now
we have
1.9 days of inventory.
We've cracked the case, days. Watson.
Yeah, we just need, like 3,000 houses so we can have kind of a balanced market.
Okay, well, let me ask you then, new construction queen. Are there 3,000 units about to come online for the marketplace anytime soon?
Under 500?
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm. In our market? No. In Mecklenburg? No. No, no, and no.
Okay, so you're talking to your people at that particular price point, probably more the Rowan, the Ckezepis, Catawba, Lincoln, Iredale. What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you liking? What's the market that's got you? Is it still Belmont?
Belmont is not as affordable as it used to.
Sure.
I still think it's a great area. So push a little, again, push a little. And if you're willing to drive, if we go around, as I always say, I shouldn't because I look at houses, so I shouldn't advertise and create competition for myself. But beginning, let's say, Statesville, Rockwell, Salisbury, Kannapolis, Midland, Lancaster, Rock Hill, York, Gastonia, Dallas. Okay, that's it.
Those are pretty. At least you've got markets to look at, though, at least, which is a positive thing. Okay. Part of the unit, when you buy it, you got to take care of it.
Yes.
You got to actually do something with it. You can't just sit on it and do nothing over the years. If you want the value to continue to go up, you got to take care of it. You got to maintain it. Maintenance Monday.
Maintenance Monday.
What you got for us today?
Foundation.
What?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of their foundation?
Nobody. I have a neighbor that actually asked me for some help the other day because
Hey, Claudia,
they
come move this foundation.
kinda,
Is
yeah,
that
because they they knew there was something not right, but then they kind of let it go for a while, and then they had water in the crawl space, and that water moved and shifted things around, and now they're going to spend way more money than they could have spent if they took care of it right in the beginning.
So the Serve Pro, Drive Pro, all the pro trucks
Ugh.
outside in the front yard ready to hoist the property up on
I would
jacks?
I would say sure, but be careful when you see ads on TV. Remember, you are paying for them. So, yes, it's beautiful to use huge names, but believe me, you're paying for those names. So, you have many. I'm not saying don't use them, but make sure you call your realtor and ask for reliable, good companies that might not be on TV that can do the same thing for way less.
But here's the problem with talking about foundations and crawl spaces versus slabs, right? And taking care of all. And ultimately, we're talking about crawl space, right?
More than anything.
More than anything, because if it's a slab, you're sitting on it, you're not doing much. Now,
It can happen,
Sure.
but it's way harder.
outside erosion,
Yes.
all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But if we're talking about crawl space, encapsulating crawl spaces, I'm going to throw it up there with roofs, probably in one of the least sexiest categories of the house. Is that fair to say?
It is. I mean, I'm not a professional. Actually, I want to have a foundation specialist here.
I thought you were saying you were going to get your foundation
My
specialist
no,
certification.
I hope so. Yeah, I would love to. Are you kidding me? I would love to. I don't know how I feel about encapsulating a crawl space. I'm not 100% sold on the idea.
Okay, let me go the other route with you. It is where I stock the entire McAdenville Christmas tree
Exactly.
lights
Mhm.
underneath every year
Mhm.
for the entire town to come and raid my crawl
And
space.
I would say most people use the crawl space for storage. They come, if you are never going to touch it and you hire a great company, then do it. But do I feel that over time it's no, because people keep putting storage, messing with the vapor barrier, messing with the whole system, and then you paid and you're not actually using the way it should. Not only that, I've seen many encapsulated crawl spaces that were not. So people spent thousands of dollars because it can cost $25,000 to do it, and it wasn't really encapsulated. So I am kind of very eerie. Can you say eerie about it?
You can say whatever you want. It's America.
I know, but am I using the right words?
Maybe.
That's the
It's
thing.
America, and whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on the whole encapsulation. I think yes, you have to make sure water is not coming to the crawl space, and that's why I say if you are on a crawl space, pay a visit every now and then, see if it's dry, see if you can smell mold, and if you do, try to figure out where it's coming from. I'm gonna again, many times you have gutters and extensions that can solve many problems. When I bought my house, the owners had cover the vents with dirt and flowers. So the water
Pretty.
was, I know. And then I just cleared it. And in a few months, my crawl space was dry. I don't have a vapor barrier. It's dry. The only thing I do is every now and then, yes, it's not the most, I don't store anything, by the way, anything at all. But every now and then I open the door. I'm like, hey, snakes, are you there? Is everything okay? And I close it and it's fine. And I don't, knock on wood, I don't have any issues. But I do check my attic. And now today we're talking about crawl spaces. I do check my crawl space every maybe 3 months.
And on the inspection report, likely should be, if your inspector is good, if you're utilizing a wonderful home professional service provider, like someone Claudia would refer, then there should be some indication about a crawl space if the property is on it. Things like how does it smell when it went inside? Was there any standing water? Also, moisture reading in the timber is also a thing as well. How many times have you seen for yourself that almost ruin a deal? A crawl space has been bad. Have you had that experience at all, or has it been thankfully pretty good thus far?
A crawl space. It's something I love to hate. I hate to love. There's always my hair. Every time I have a crawl space as a listing agent, as a buyer agent, it's always something that worries me because most of the times something happens to crawl spaces. Even when you have great sellers that believe they take amazing care of the house, and they do, but they never go underneath the house. So many times they have issues
I
that
didn't
they're
know
not
that
aware.
existed.
And believe me, some of them I know well enough to know they take great care of the house, and and I know they were not lying, that they had no idea. So it does happen.
I remember some of my
Because people are afraid of crawl spaces.
Oh yeah, and I remember some, like I had a couple back in the brokerage days of the black mold you see on the wood. It freaks me. That's black mold. We got to replace the entire foundation. That happens too, right? You panic, and you got 2 weeks left or a week left of due diligence, and you got to negotiate that out. How much are you seeing repairs and all of that come into play in the process, or is it still with the sellers? Hey, take it or leave it. I'm not doing anything, buyer.
I think it all depends on how due diligence fee was paid, and this is what I tell my buyers the same way. Don't give them enough in our market. Give them enough that they take your offer and put the house under contract, but not too much that you lose all the power negotiating, and basically giving the sellers the power to say, hey, you're not happy, buy, and they keep your due diligence fee. So it's all a matter of balancing. And I always, whenever I have a crawl space, I always take a look at it as we are looking, and like, maybe this will have a house. We might put an offer on the house. I like to take a look at it. I'm not an inspector. I'm not a GC yet, but I can see a lot because I've been around a lot to kind of see, this looks bad. Let's be careful when we put an offer together, or this looks pretty awesome. I would be shocked if anything other than standard came up.
Josh Smith of Goosehead Insurance, still with us. Do you get a lot of random requests of, like, especially like encapsulating a crawl space, right? Or is it always come back to just the overall value of the house and the gross amount of the coverage of the policy?
More so just the overall, like, gross of the reconstruction of the house. I've had a couple people ask me for contacts for, like, encapsulating. But on the topic of Maintenance Monday, it's very easy to forget that you don't want to be negligent to your house. And if you are found to be negligent to maintaining the property the best of your ability, that's going to be the first way that an insurance carrier denies your coverage.
Ooh, what is the thing? Oh, no, it's not working.
That's not the one you want, but that would be a fun one if you played that one. So omission is betrayal, basically, right? If you don't take care of it, if you don't do something,
they can use that against you.
Yeah.
See, everyone, Maintenance Monday.
Your example of the water, we kind of knew about it, but we just let it go. They're gonna
don't say that on tape.
Because we want people to take care of their house.
But then in the instance of, like, oh crap, we just found out, like, and you take action, that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you think there's anything to, pre-inspecting a property before you put it to the market? Do you care about that, Claudia? The whole check out the house before we go ahead and go active on the market?
I do. I mean, I do talk to my sellers. Most don't want to pay for one, but I have a to-do list, and I tell my clients to go through the whole thing. And if they do, and when they do, a lot of what could come up has, is taken care of before we even list. So I do have a seller's checklist of easy things anyone can do to have the best possible inspection when the buyer has an inspector come to the house.
To have the best possible experience, you need a great broker who knows great people in the marketplace, like Josh Smith of Goosehead Insurance. And who do you call on? Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate, to take care of all of your real estate needs. She stays up all night, and she works on holidays for people, and she's crazy about her customers, and it just doesn't make sense out in this place. Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Join us next week.